notwithstanding people like Newt Gingrich and maybe even Donald Trump, most people believe that American Muslims subscribe to the basic principles of American liberal democracy. But we have to understand, of course, that the Muslims in America are a minority. What if the Muslims became a majority? Would they still subscribe to these traditional American values, or would they attempt to impose, and that's what people like Donald Trump suggest, impose Sharia on everybody, including non-Muslims?
This is a really interesting question, but I also worry about this question because it's a pure hypothetical. It will never happen. I can't think of any conceivable scenario in which this could be possible. But even if we said that Muslims were somehow a majority in the U.S., then it would obviously not be the U.S. as we know it, because it would be much more informed by the fact that Muslims were a majority, just as if blacks were a majority, or if whites are a majority, or any group is a majority, that has a particular effect on how the basic fabric of society, right? But I think that I'm very much inspired by the American model, which I think is preferable to the kind of European analogs, because this is a country, at least in my view, where you can be fully Muslim and fully American, and you don't have to make a choice, because this is a country that historically has been receptive to public expressions of religion, as long as you express your religious beliefs within the constitutional order. But there isn't an issue that if you're a woman who's wearing the headscarf on a beach, you don't have to worry about the police coming to you like in France, because there isn't this very aggressive, intrusive secularism. And that's not just as it relates to Muslims, but also if you look at Christian evangelicals. Christian evangelicals feel, I think, under siege, whether that's a fair or unfair perception, but at least Christian evangelicals are able to express their Christianity in various parts of the country, and that's part of the American fabric, and I would never question their Americanness, even though they believe in things which I profoundly disagree with as a small L liberal, whether it's on things like gay marriage, gay rights, and so on. So, or Orthodox Jewish communities in New York. So I think that there is that tradition, and I worry that there is more talk now in the U.S. about the necessity of assimilation. I don't think assimilation should ever be the goal in the U.S., because assimilation suggests giving up your own traditions, some of your religious beliefs, your identity, to be part of this assimilated, homogeneous whole. That is not, at least to me, what America is all about. And I worry that with the growing threat of terrorism, there is more pressure to homogenize. And I think you see some of these problems more and more in Europe. And I think that will be the key test of the next few decades, because unfortunately, and not to be overly pessimistic here, I think we're going to live with terrorism, again, for the rest of our lives. It's not something we can ever eliminate 100%. We can do our best to minimize it, to reduce it, but there will always be that threat, right? And that threatens the very nature of our country and how we think about what it means to be American. But I do think thus far, this is a very positive, again, model or template here in the US.